Good morning, Toms River, Ocean County, New Jersey, and United States Banana Republic. This is Dr. Barbara Schneider here live today on Radio Free America. It is Saturday, August 27th, 2022. And again, we're live here today, and I'm here today due to the generosity of Dr. Michael Katchmar, whose studio we're using, and the technical expertise of Jeremy sitting across from me.
Hey.
So, to start, as usual, I want to plug local businesses. They are the backbone of our economy, they are our strength, they are a target for this administration. So, to begin, TSF Disposal. If you've got garbage, he's got a dumpster for you.
Yeah.
Any size. You can book online or call directly. The service is terrific. Lakeside Diner on Lacey Road and Forked River. Excellent food and a wonderful owner. C&G Country Cafe, 2 locations, Toms River Heating and Air Conditioning. That's the Petty family. Please patronize our local businesses. For your beauty needs, Frank and Maria's on Fisher Boulevard, Allure Salon on Route 37, and Harmony Salon up north. Ladies, beauty cannot be overrated or underrated. Don't say gray. Go get your hair done. Go get your faces done. Your nails, everything. Beauty is important. Let's go Brandon on Route 37 for all your political needs.
I love just how long that statement has lasted. You know,
Well,
like it was birthed in the right way by accident, and it's been fabulous ever since.
well, the truth is out there, and we have to resurrect it. Me, my listeners, and everyone.
Yes, ma'am.
And for all my loyal listeners, thank you. Please share these episodes. We don't know where the truth will go.
Yeah.
And the more of it that gets out, the better off we'll be. Ken's Hardware, also on Fisher Boulevard. You don't need to go to the big chain stores. The brewery and the distillery in downtown Toms River for your spirits. Brooklyn Bistro, a great neighborhood restaurant. Red Rose Bakery. The cakes and bread to die for.
Just walk in, and I bet it smells like magic.
Oh, it's wonderful. It's wonderful. We're there every Sunday morning.
Are you really? That's great.
The tiny greenhouse, if you like house plants. They've got a wonderful selection and also support should your plant unfortunately wilt. And then to work off all these wonderful calories, Attila's Gym, they're a little west of us in Belmore, New Jersey. The owners, Frank and Ian Smith, stood up to King Philip to keep their business open at tremendous cost financially, personally, emotionally. Okay, well, as you know, it's been an incredibly newsworthy week. And let's review a few of the issues that were brought up. The 3-letter agencies in our government are being weaponized against the United States citizens. Remember, it's no longer America first, it's America last, and citizens way behind that. So as you know, the IRS is getting 87,000 new agents thanks to the bill passed a couple of weeks ago with Joe Manchin's help. I wonder how much he got paid. So there's $80 billion in funding for the IRS, and $46 billion of that money is earmarked for enforcement. That's why IRS agents are going to be carrying guns. And I don't know, but I bet they'll be licensed to shoot anyone who they think is a tax evader. After all, Ashley Babbitt lost her life, and there has been no investigation. Okay, now historically, the IRS has always audited the poor more aggressively than the super wealthy at a rate of 200 to 1. That's because they want the low-hanging fruit, Wealthy people can afford accountants and attorneys, and the people earning not that much, under 100,000, are targets for the IRS. And the rate of audits on low income people is expected to triple. Now, Creepy Joe Diaper said that audits on people making less than $400,000 would not increase.
He just perfected that
Yeah.
that title.
Well, guess what? He lied. You can tell he's lying when his lips are moving, because you certainly can't look at his eyes, which reflect the drugs he's given just to appear before a camera. And it's working less and less well. My friend, Dr. McGee, thinks he's being given Adderall, which is a form of speed, just to get him through this.
Oh my God.
Okay, so for people making $75,000 a year or less, not only will your taxes rise, but the audits on you will increase. And for rural people who claim this new deduction, earned income tax credits, audits will rise more than triple. That's because since the tax laws are so complex, if you make one mistake in a column when you do your tax returns, the IRS is going to get you. And having people prepare your tax returns for you is a luxury that a lot of people can't afford, especially now when they're deciding between food and gas. We're in dark times, people.
Yes, ma'am.
So people who aren't super wealthy can also not afford to fight the IRS. They're going to be smushed. And there is a historical precedent for this, because the IRS was weaponized by Bill Clinton. And for what? To go after Paula Jones and Jennifer Flowers.
Oh my
Now,
God.
as you recall, Jennifer Flowers had a long-standing affair with Clinton. And Paula Jones, he tried to rape her in his hotel room. The Arkansas State Police brought her up for his pleasure, and she resisted. She then sued him, and he denied the allegation. However, she was able to identify a birthmark on his
Took us?
no,
No.
the one in the front.
Oh, the schmeckle.
Yes. So, okay, so that was interesting. Another Democrat president who weaponized the IRS. However, breaking news, in order to safeguard democracy, Congress has voted to exempt itself and its members from upcoming IRS audits. What a surprise. This is
Yes,
like
ma'am.
other exemptions by Congress.
Yeah.
Okay.
I almost wish I was one of the bad guys, because they're making out like like crazy here.
It's citizens last.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go to another hallmark decision by the diaper wearing man in the White House.
Yeah.
The Student Loan Reduction Act. Okay, so here, first picture of the day. Let's see.
Right here, this one. Just to be clear, there is no plan to eliminate student debt. There is a plan to transfer that debt to those that don't owe it. Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
So this Student Loan Reduction Act involves about 15% of the population who made bad decisions. Why should we pay for their bad decisions? It will transfer $300 billion of debt to other people. And the idea is that the debt reduction will enable those people to buy homes. Ladies and gentlemen, that's psychotic. And I'll tell you why in a minute. Doctors with student loan debt are excluded from this debt relief. And $10,000 is the standard reduction, but for some people, it's up to $20,000.
Was there ever a reason why they excluded doctors?
Um, Possibly because they're working and trying to earn a living,
Yeah.
and also to make sure that the doctors are employed forever and can never challenge the mandates of politicians.
Yeah.
So, good morning, Debbie. So, if you don't have doctors who can think on their own, you can never make American medicine great again.
Jeanette got a good one here. They say, my choice, my body. How about my debt, my responsibility?
Well,
That should be a shirt, Jeanette. You got to go
that
into
is great.
business, girl.
You're obviously not a Democrat. So, how would an additional $10,000 help buy a home? Not now, and possibly not anymore. Okay. So, home ownership was part of the American dream. And the whole idea of the Democrats is to kill the American dream. Hey, Jackie, aren't you down in South Carolina or something? Okay. So, recently, and it's not well described on the news, home sales have plummeted, and home prices have started to come down. But interest rates have risen already. And the country's chief economist yesterday promised that more interest rate hikes are coming. That's why the stock market tanked over 1,000 points yesterday.
Oh, my God.
People can no longer get affordable mortgages. Their jobs may be insecure because we don't know how much worse this recession is going to get. And people can no longer move. So some people who want to sell their home and buy a different one, either bigger or smaller, they can't do that. So they're stuck in place. That's why they need to remodel. And if they remodel, they're going to need to get a dumpster. Call TSF disposal. Okay. So
that was smooth.
Wasn't that good?
Oh, yeah.
So remember, the whole idea is you will own nothing and be happy. And this is the continued assassination of the American dream. Remember, I told you that lawns are racist because a home with a grass lawn and some freedom of movement and privacy was the American dream that started in the 50s and the 60s when the baby boomers were born. And that is now racist because it is from a time when America was over 80% Caucasian. And the dream of the globalists is the browning out of America and the subjugation of the Caucasian people. So the economy is in recession due to the policies of Joe Diaper. He's not even running the country. You can tell by the vacant eyes when he sometimes appears on television. And these interviews and appearances are carefully edited by the lamestream media to hide the fact that this man is mentally incompetent and getting worse each and every day. So at this point, we have to assume that Barack Obama and Susan Rice are running the country. Of course, they're not the ultimate top. They're being run by, I think, China and the globalists. But remember, in order to have world domination, America must be taken down. America has traditionally been the shining tower on the hill, the bulwark of freedom, the protection of the poor and hopeless. And that has to be destroyed for the globalists to take over.
Did you see that? Did you see that amazing commercial thing that Trump put together on Truth Social?
I did not.
Oh my God, it's so inspiring. And the amazing thing about it is it starts off it's all in black and white, and there's thunder in the background, and he's talking and he's telling us about how our country is now, and how, we're not even self-reliant or self-superior, and all the things that have changed in just 2 short years. And then it comes back to him all in color, you know and he's telling you about what we can do, and then what will happen, and we're going to retake America again and make it great the way it should be and stuff. And the beautiful thing about this this commercial, I'll show it to you after the show, is that he all he does is tell facts, irrefutable facts.
So how do you get on Truth Social? Do you friend him or
I
something?
actually, I this week I signed up for it.
Okay. Is
It's
there
a
a f-
little, it's a
is it-
little sticky
Is
when you.
there a fee for it?
No, it's free.
Oh,
Yeah, and you can get it right on your phone.
okay.
You need to. There's a little emailing back and forth, so you're waiting there for them to send you a code for about 15 minutes. It's kind of tricky to get to sign on. I gave up like 3 times, and then I finally got it. But I immediately followed, Trump, his family, his all this and all, but this, I'll show it to you. It's amazing. And folks, just go on YouTube. You can do just, I typed in Trump commercial. I'm sure many of you have already seen it, but it's truly inspiring and amazing.
So, what else has President Diaper done? Let's talk about his energy policy. Prices are up in the United States. They're a few cents down for the upcoming election. So, shortages are up as well, especially in places that rely on wind and solar.
Mm.
A memo was accidentally released this week where the Biden's government is asking for a decrease in export of energy to Europe. They're already strapped because Russia has cut them off. And the only thing that Biden's energy policy has done is it's allowed China, Russia, and Iran to thrive and control the narrative. Biden is crippling America. This is treason. And whoever gets in has to hold the Biden crime syndicate accountable. If there is no accountability, if there is no equal application of the law, we don't have a country. And it has to be done. So Gavin Newsom is crippling California. No gas cars after what, 2035 or something like
Yeah.
that. So I wonder how people are going to get supplies from all the trucks that bring in supplies. I mean, this guy is nuts, but the rules are for thee and not for me. These
Yeah.
people are filthy rich with China money. They are traitors to the United States of America. They should not be in office. And once, if Republicans and honest people are able to retake the House and Senate, all these traitors must be held accountable.
Yeah.
And treason is punishable by death. And it has to be done. It has to be done. So,
Well, it has to be done because it'll leave it's like a warning for all others who are gonna or doing dirty deeds in official status, and it might make them think twice in the future because we're gonna pursue this.
this president has brought us so close to the brink of disaster.
Yeah.
I don't know if even the once and future president can get us back. I'm hoping it's true.
Yeah.
A lot of people
the one mistake I think he made when he got into office was not throwing Hillary behind bars, because
absolutely.
that would have been a message to everyone.
Yep, and I've got some stuff on that coming
Oh, well, do
right
you
up.
really? Good.
So we know that on August 8th was the unprecedented FBI raid on Mar-a-Lago.
Oh, yeah.
And the heavily redacted affidavit to justify the judicial order to raid Mar-a-Lago was released yesterday, although heavily redacted. But based on what was not redacted, it seems that a clerk in the National Archives did not like the way Trump's boxes of documents were packed. And this clerk or bureaucrat or idiot or anti-Trumper filed a criminal complaint with the FBI against Trump. Now, this is illegal. It is unjustifiable. And yesterday, I think on one of the news programs, Professor Alan Dershowitz, that idiot, even if he is at Harvard Law, said, oh, well, the judge is not at fault for signing the search warrant. Yes, the judge is at fault, unless judges just sign orders that lawyers put before them to screw whoever's in the documents. Sooner or later, somebody's got to read something and be held accountable. We are all accountable for what we do. So this judge isn't accountable for having an affidavit filed by a clerk in the National Archives. This was a judge who had previously recused himself from a Trump issue because he's posted negative stuff about Trump on his Facebook page. What are we doing here? So in any way, the FBI is another three-letter agency that has been weaponized against the citizens, not just the IRS, not just all the others. So they sat on Hunter Biden's laptop. They had it for almost 2 years.
Yeah.
It chronicled misconduct by the Biden family. I mean, you didn't even have to do an investigation. It was right there on the laptop. But not only did they suppress it and get the New York Post, which exposed it, banned from social media, the FBI allegedly told Mark Zuckerberg, the owner of Facebook,
Yeah.
that the laptop was Russian disinformation. I bet a lot of you saw that Joe Rogan interview with Mark Zuckerberg,
Yeah.
who also lies through his teeth that the Hunter Biden laptop was Russian disinformation. And you had 35 former security chiefs who never saw the laptop sign a letter that it was Russian disinformation. Anything to help Trump lose.
Yeah.
So now we have Ashley Biden's diary being suppressed.
That's his daughter, right?
That's his
Yeah.
daughter. And in her diary, which was not stolen, even though 2 people are going to jail for allegedly stealing it, she left it in a halfway house after she was released for drug rehab.
Oh.
She tells about taking showers with her father, who's now wearing a diaper. And that's, ew,
Yeah.
So she feels she was highly sexualized by her childhood experiences, which caused her to abuse drugs and who knows what else.
Oh, boy.
So the raid on Mar-a-Lago is looking more and more like a fishing expedition to get private documents that the FBI was not entitled to. The Trump people have filed a request for a master and have requested that the documents not be reviewed. But you know that copies of these documents were made within 5 minutes of the raid, because that was the whole point of this, to see what he had against the people who have filed multiple frivolous and persecutory claims against Trump. And so this relentless persecution of Trump does continue. And this is evidence that the rule of law is unevenly applied. And the hope was that these continued raids and threat of criminal complaint being filed against Trump would decrease his support. But it's backfired. Support for Trump has increased not just among Republicans, but among independents who are appalled at what is going on. So the FBI is dissolving into a third world or a Cold War security force like the Stasi, and it's happening right before our eyes. And the FBI now works exclusively for the corrupt Biden family or the Biden crime syndicate, whichever you want to call it. Hunter Biden's misconduct, the fraudulently registered firearm, the crack cocaine use, the questionable foreign income, the use of foreign prostitutes, that's all okay. But Trump is a criminal. So what else did the FBI do? They raided the home of James O'Keefe. He's the founder of Project Veritas, which is a news agency dedicated to the truth. And the supposed reason for the raid was that they were looking for Ashley Biden's diary, which O'Keefe didn't have. But the FBI raided his home because
they do. Yeah.
They're a police force dedicated to protecting the Biden crime syndicate. The FBI arrested and publicly shackled Trump economic advisor Peter Navarro. I mean, in an airport when they could have just asked him to come in.
Yeah.
But they wanted a public show of force to instill fear in people who object to what's going on in this country. The FBI, under James Comey, refused to investigate or prosecute Hillary Clinton for destroying 30,000 subpoenaed emails from her tenure as Secretary of State. So we all know about this, but I've been reading a book by Tom Fitton, who runs Judicial Watch, which is an incredible organization. So many of those deleted emails had to do with Benghazi, where we lost the ambassador and some Navy SEALs because of the fact that the Marines were not sent to protect the embassy. They were paralyzed and not sent. And Susan Rice appeared on TV at multiple shows the next day to say it was a rally gone awry. No, it was a calculated attack on American citizens and American property, and Obama and Clinton left them there to die. So what else? So Hillary Clinton was using a private server to specifically avoid FOIA requests. She did not want to be accountable for anything she did. And as Secretary of State, Bill Clinton got speaking offers or speaking deals for $750,000 for a 1-hour speech because he sold access to Hillary Clinton as Secretary of State, and they took in tens of millions of dollars for his speaking fees. Obama knew this was going on and figured he'd learn how to make money. Remember, the Obamas entered the White House with a net worth of under $1 million and left 8 years later with a net worth of $49 million. Now, they're going to say that it was due to book sales. Hogwash. The only people who bought his ridiculous books were the Chinese, and they bought him lock, stock, and barrel. So an interesting thing I found out about Hillary Clinton and her private server is who gave her the idea? Well, it was the late General Colin Powell. another wonderful member of the deep state. So after James Comey was chief of the FBI, we got Andrew McCabe. Facebook keeps cutting out.
Yeah.
Sorry, Irene.
Try in the in our little information patch underneath this video. Try going to either Rumble or YouTube. Rumble is our backdoor, our safety net, essentially. Just, and this is a good time to say it. They may be knuckling down on what's allowed to be said, and the censorship's going to be a little bit more harsh. So just be aware, guys. We do have Rumble, okay, and we do have YouTube while it lasts, you know. But Rumble is our safety net. So if you guys are on Rumble, please save our little page there. You also get all of our other sister shows like Lifeguarding and Scrubbing Up and Painless with Dr. Gabriel Jasper, as well as our show. So it's a great place to be.
So the FBI under Rumble just sucks.
Yeah, it's yeah, but the good thing about Rumble is that they're not going to cancel us. That's why. And unfortunately, she's the only girl in town right now.
So the FBI under Andrew McCabe. So McCabe lied to federal investigators, and he's the one who signed off on the fraudulent FBI FISA application for the Russia collusion case, okay, or the Russia collusion hoax.
Yeah.
McCabe's wife ran for a state Senate office in Virginia and took hundreds of thousands of dollars from a political action committee with ties to Clinton.
Rumble,
thank you, Corinne.
Yeah, and they're saying Rumble's not connecting. Son of a gun.
So now the FBI is under control of Christopher Wray, who evaded answers before Congress 2 weeks ago and then took off for vacation on an FBI private jet. So James Comey took over the FBI from Robert Mueller. Yep, the same one for the Mueller Russia collusion hoax. And Robert Mueller, swore under oath that he had no knowledge of the Steele dossier or of Fusion GPS, the firm that paid Steele to write the dossier. Now, that's a little hard to believe because the Mueller investigation cost the nation about $43 million that all went to Clinton attorneys. And the whole point of the investigation was based on a made-up dossier and a FISA warrant signed by McCabe, who was highly compromised. And the dossier and the Fusion GPS were the two catalysts that had inspired this entire investigation. So towards the end of that investigation, which was based on nothing, Mueller's team deleted critical cell phone evidence that had been subpoenaed by Congress. They had complete and utter contempt for Congress. And I have here a little synopsis written by Victor Davis Hanson, who's a senior fellow at the Hoover Institute. And he said, the FBI interferes with and warps national elections. It hires complete frauds as informants who are far worse than its targets. It humiliates or exempts government and elected officials based on their politics. It violates the civil liberties of individual American citizens. The FBI's highest officials now routinely mislead Congress. They have erased or altered court and subpoenaed evidence. They illegally leak confidential material to the media. And they have lied under oath to federal investigators. The agency has become dangerous to Americans and an existential threat to their democracy and rule of law. The FBI should be dispersing its investigatory responsibilities to other government investigative agencies that have not yet lost the public's trust. And in general, the FBI needs to be disbanded.
Yeah.
It's not just the people at the top
It's
anymore.
broken. It's broken.
Totally broken. There are whistleblowers all over the country who are saying that their leadership is corrupt. It's now so widespread that who can we trust in there? If we're going to have an FBI, it has to be totally rebuilt from the ground up. And they're not the only agency. Okay, what other three-letter agency do we have to talk about today? Let's go to the CDC. The CDC has reversed itself. They have put out a statement that vaccine and natural immunity have reduced serious illness and death from COVID-19. What does that mean? Everyone can pretty much go back to normal. Stop worrying about positive cases and seek a test only if you're sick. Okay, vaccination status is no longer an issue because there are breakthrough cases, and even unvaccinated people who had COVID have some degree of protection. Now, despite the CDC recommendations, the US government still will not allow unvaccinated travelers into the United States, which is why that tennis champion cannot play at the US Open, because he has systematically refused vaccination. However, at least 4 million illegals have crossed our southern border. Well, it's not our southern border. It belongs to the Mexican drug cartels. And none of them are vaccinated, and they have been bussed and shipped all over the United States.
My new neighbors next door. Yeah.
Yeah, well, we have them next door, and the organic farm on Silverton Road now has them next door. The whole idea is for them to, I don't know, drive out the neighbors. I'm not sure, but the point is to change America forever.
Yeah.
And
they're bringing in particle board and all of that to make these like slapshod walls so they can have partitions between the beds, I guess, or wherever they're sleeping.
And this cannot be tolerated.
It's nuts.
If Republicans retake the White House in 2024, they have to be rounded up and dumped back on the southern border. We don't know who's in our country. We know that brain clots, obviously. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So the illegals have to be rounded up and dumped on the other side of the southern border, which we have to secure.
Everything you said just then, Ellen, is true. Unfortunately, we can't say it aloud.
We have to, even the children who've been dumped on our border can be redumped back on the southern border. Whoever dumped them can go reclaim them.
Right.
The 80,000 Afghan people who were brought here by President Diaper can be shipped back to Afghanistan. That's where they belong. We don't know where they are. We don't know who they are. They have to be rounded up and dumped. They are terrorists. They are here to bring down America. Crime is rampant in this country now. There are shootings on Hooper Avenue. I mean, are you kidding me? In Toms River, we have got to restore safety and sanity in this country.
I have a feeling like when President Biden was saying, yeah, no, I don't know anything about it. You know, that's going to be his fallback, It's going to be this department took care of that. That department took care of that. It wasn't me at all. I wasn't aware of any of this stuff going on.
He is allegedly the commander-in-chief.
Yeah.
He is responsible. And I don't care if he's mentally deficient. If he has committed treason, he gets hanged by the neck until dead.
Yeah. I was watching old YouTube clips from when he ran for president in '88.
And he lied then too.
And that's what really had made him have to back out, because his lies were so profound and so like huge. They had they were so obviously found out, you know. So then why all these years later do we think, yeah, he's probably not going to lie anymore, we're pretty sure. Let's vote him in now.
And his claims of being a wonderful student, he barely made it through the law school.
Yeah, he said he was like at the top of his class out of 89 or something. He came out like 78 or something like that.
He was way down.
It was so bad. It was
And
embarrassing.
the only way Hillary Clinton could pass the bar exam was that in the state of Arkansas, she was allowed a private exam and she miraculously passed. She is no intellectual, but she does know how to rape this country for money.
Ooh, that's great.
Okay.
That's a great one.
So despite the CDC's recommendations, the U.S. government still, and the CDC, well, I have to say the CDC does still recommend face coverings because there's a Biden court case pending about the constitutionality of his mandates. The Biden administration has extended the COVID emergency. Why? We don't know.
It's a cold at this point.
We don't know. So I do have a text that appeared on Telegram. It's anonymous, and I do want to read it here. And it's for a lot of you and Angie Bell. And it's called Message to the Unvaccinated. And it says, even if I were pollinated and fully vaccinated, I would admire the unvaccinated for withstanding the greatest pressure I have ever seen, even from partners, parents, children, friends, colleagues, and doctors. People who are capable of such personality, courage, and critical ability are undoubtedly the best of humanity. They are everywhere, in all ages, levels of education, states, and ideas. They are of a special kind. They are the soldiers that every army of light wants to have in its ranks. They are the parents that every child wants to have, and the children that every parent dreams of having. They are beings above the average of their societies. They are the essence of the people who have built all cultures and conquered horizons. They are there, next to you. They look normal, but they are superheroes. They did what others could not. They were the tree that withstood the hurricane of insults, discrimination, and social exclusion. And they did it because they thought they were alone and believed they were the only ones. Banned from their families' tables at Christmas, they never saw anything so cruel. They lost their jobs, let their careers sink, had no more money, but they didn't care. They suffered immeasurable discrimination, denunciation, betrayal, and humiliation, but they kept going. Never before in humanity has there been such a casting. Now we know who are the best on planet Earth. Women, men, old, young, rich, poor, of all races or religions, the unvaccinated, the chosen of the invisible ark, the only ones who managed to resist when everything collapsed. That's you. You passed an unimaginable test that many of the toughest Marines, commandos, Green Berets, astronauts, and geniuses could not withstand. You are made of the stuff of the greatest who ever lived. Those heroes born among ordinary men who glow in the dark.
That was a good one.
So,
Yeah.
so what else happened this week? Although there's been very little critical stuff written about it, Moderna has sued Pfizer for patent infringement. So Moderna says they started working with the mRNA vaccine possibilities in 2010 and filed patents, and they were poised for action in 2020 for the pandemic. They say that Pfizer stole aspects of their technology to produce their own vaccine. Not included in the news reports are the fact that some lipid producing companies in Canada have sued Moderna as well, and for theft of their technology. And it looks like these lipid companies are owned by Justin Trudeau and his family, which is also becoming a crime syndicate. And
Yeah. Another tyrant, right?
Yeah, a tyrant, Fidel Castro's love child, a force for the left, and for lack of transparency.
Yeah.
It is, again, the fact that so many people believed that their governments would not lie to them about the pandemic, the need for the shutdowns, the need for the vaccine, the need for social distancing, the need to shut down schools, the need to cripple our children economically, socially, and intellectually. And in that vein, Washington Mayor Muriel whatever has stated that unvaccinated children will not be allowed in school next month. So
Is that what they said?
that's yeah. She issued a decree that in Washington D.C.
Oh.
unvaccinated children will not be allowed to attend class.
God.
Now, for those of you who don't know, 40%, at least 40% of the African American community refused to get vaccinated because there is a terrible history of racial abuse with vaccines, with medicines, and with experimentation. So this mayor is targeting African American children who often are poor, and these are the children who were hurt worst by the school lockdowns. They did not have access to computers or iPads to have out-of-person learning. They lost 2 years of education. They will never catch up. And the menial jobs they may get will be taken by illegal aliens. So the racism, virtual learning, that's what I meant, yes. So the racism of the left far, far exceeds the racism that right a wing and Republican people are being accused of.
So they're holding their right to education hostage.
Correct.
Yeah.
And it's the education and the socialization and getting off the streets and not being condemned to miserable life, because the whole key to the American dream is education. And the schools have sunk into this left-wing pandering. There was a really interesting interview with Steve Jobs some years ago where he said that one of the reasons education has fallen by the wayside is that women went back to work. You had two parents in a household working, and kids went to school, And parents didn't have as much time to go to PTA meetings and oversee what was being done.
Right.
And his solution to that was to give every person a voucher for their child's education and have them shop around for the school that would best suit their child's needs. And that was what Trump tried to do with charter schools. Of course, the NJEA, which was also responsible for crippling our children's minds and attitudes, was deeply against this. But if you have competition, which is the hallmark of capitalism and one of the C's that made America great, if there's competition, there is ultimately a reach for superiority and the best product. When there is no competition, the economy dies, everything dies. But if every parent had a voucher, the school with the best teachers and the best ability and the best outcome would get the students. And if the other people wanted to survive, they would have to accommodate people who control the pocketbook. There should not be a Department of Education in Washington. Education is a local issue and should remain a local issue. And that's why parents have to be in control of what their children are learning, and it doesn't involve critical race theory. That is an abomination that was dreamed up by the left, the sexualization and the dumbing down of our children to enable them to become Chinese slaves. Okay, so I don't know if that's true.
Yeah, Corinne says if parents write a letter stating that they haven't been vaccinated due to religious reasons, they cannot be denied entering school in person.
So I hope that's true.
Yeah, me too, Corinne.
And because there have been, aside from the sudden deaths, the complications related to that medication in young people far outweigh the benefits. And especially in young men or young boy children, the myocarditis and the cardiac anomalies are astonishing. Last week, we had the sudden death of a 37-year-old champion mountain biker who had a cardiac arrest in his sleep the day after he won the championship. I was unable to find out what his vaccine status was because it was not readily available, but I don't think anybody's going to make a bet.
Oh, Corinne says her daughter has and her niece has.
Fabulous.
So that's great. That's great, Corinne.
Fabulous. Where there is risk, there must be choice. And we know that this medication, which is experimental, involves risk. And yes, they're trying to do away with religious exemptions because the left does not believe in God. And they want to do away with God. And
it was one of the first things they shut down during the 2020.
Yeah, well,
was churches. So
Ecclesiastes says that both good times and bad times are God ordained. So people should accept good when accessible and face adversity when it becomes reality. What does that mean? It means make every day count. Because time is God ordained. We don't know how much we have. So you have to make every day count.
That was brilliant, Dr. Barb. That was brilliant.
Thanks.
Yeah.
So faith is a gift, and we all hope to receive it. And so in any event, I am in Toms River, 732-244-2060. I am available for your questions and help.
She wants, Liz wants to see your shirt of the week.
Oh, yeah. Oh, this is a new one. Here we go.
Oh yeah,
Can you see it?
we got an American eagle wearing like Tom Cruise Top Gun sunglasses, and the American flag behind it, and the word freedom below it. Very beautiful. Very beautiful.
Oh, thank you for asking. Yeah, that's my shirt of the week. So
Hey, thanks, Kathy. Thank you so much. You're
that's
awesome.
and
And honestly, we're closing up, but yeah, the best doctor you could ever ask for. And but for all of our long-term Barbara babes, we love you every weekend. You make it exciting to come in and do this. And we just absolutely adore each and every one of you, and you bring a very sizable chunk of show to our show by your comments, and we just love them. And we love how you guys talk in the chat with each other. And last week I think somebody talked about lunch. That sounds pretty good to me.
so thank you for your time. Thank you for your thoughts and prayers. And as my final quote before I sign off, this is from Isaiah. So do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God, and I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. Again, from Isaiah 41. So anyway, it's a beautiful weekend outside. The sun is shining. Go out, breathe the free, fresh air
Yeah.
before they take that from us too. And just remember, this is America. She's worth fighting for. And so Toms River, Ocean County, New Jersey, in America. This is Dr. Schneider, Barbara Schneider, signing off for until next week.
Yeah.
I love you all.
For more information about Dr. Schneider and all the wonderful things we talk about on this show, please go to goseebarb.com. For Dr. Kachmar, you have Jersey Shore Foot and Leg Center.com. And for Dr. Jasper, of course, we have jaspermd.com. He's the master of pain after all. Yeah, we'll see you guys. Take